this meeting of the November Board of Education to order. Welcome all our guests. Thank you all for being here. Hope you can stay with us the entire meeting if you'd like. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Can I get a second?
A second.
All in favor, raise your right hand. Both the same. Do we have anybody for open forum?
We do not, sir.
All right. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. All right. Any discussion on transfer and payment of bills?
I just noticed we had a bunch from Rudolph Busing. Were they delayed in billing us or something? Or?
We just got them in all at once.
Once,
Not
okay.
necessarily delay.
Okay.
Sometimes we get them all in batches, so to speak, and sometimes they trickle in. I know Joe was out of town here in the last month.
What is ECSC? What is
Early
that?
Childhood Special Education.
Okay.
I had a question.
Mm-hmm.
The huddle, it says $10,000. Is that an annual or is that a?
Annual, yeah.
Annually?
Yeah, that's expensive as it is. I can't imagine remotely paying for that.
Yes, very expensive.
All right. Can I get a motion to approve the transfer and payment of bills?
I'll make a motion to approve the transfer and payment of bills.
Can I get a second?
A second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the transfer and payment of bills, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Reports. Elementary report.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'll start out with our enrollment. So we're at 305 right now. That's down 4 from the beginning of the year. We were at 309. We've had quite a few kids move in and out, but overall it's been pretty balanced. We are having families move out. We've had just as many families almost move in. This time last year, enrollment was at 280, so we're still up about 25 at the elementary from last year, so that's pretty good. We're excited to see that grow. And then some celebrations at the elementary. We're still seeing a ton of positive office referrals. Teachers are doing a great job of noticing the things that our kids are doing well, and you can tell that in our kids too. They're so excited to cheer for those other people when they're getting up and getting their positive office referrals, so that's been really cool to see too. Also a huge thank you to all of our wonderful community partners for coming out to the fall parade. This year we had just a really good time and a really good turnout, so we appreciate their support and their support of our kids. Our Veterans Day concert was also a success. Mr. Campbell did an amazing job preparing students for that. And then last week we got to have some of the best grade level team meetings that we have had so far in my almost 3 years here. A lot of great data conversations happening and things that they are telling you that they're changing in the classroom to modify our instruction to better meet the needs of our kids. And so I'm super excited to see what that will bring in the future. A couple of culture items. So our Building Sunshine Committee is working really hard to plan some fun events for the remainder of the year. This past Sunday we got to have a painting party as a staff, which was a lot of fun. This year we're doing Toot Your Horn Tuesday to celebrate staff members and all of that they are doing both in the classroom and out of the classroom to support our kids. So that's been a lot of fun. We have also enjoyed welcoming families into the building this fall for our parent-teacher conferences, Grandparents' Day. We had a huge turnout. Even with the weather, we were excited to welcome everybody in. Fall parties and parade and the Veterans Day concert, as well as our fall Title I Mass Reader Night. It was a big success again, so we enjoyed seeing everybody out for that. Instruction. So we have worked with MURPDC. Last year we worked a lot with Whitley Milton, and she worked with us on the science of reading, so more literacy type stuff. This year we've been working with Mark Clements from MURPDC on some standards-based grading items and just better understanding and getting a grasp there. But one thing he talked to us about this last time is creating success criteria and making sure we're really holding our students to the standard of what Missouri Learning Standards say, and making sure we're looking at each little piece within that standard. So that has been super successful, and teachers are already implementing things. We met with him 2 times this year already, and I'm already seeing things implemented in the classroom, so that is super awesome, and I'm really proud of our teachers for just jumping right in with their learning and being willing to try new things. We're also going to start exploring options for a possible ELA pilot, so just be on the lookout for that. I met with 2 curriculum resource companies today, and then I have another meeting tomorrow to just explore some options to help better support our students. Next in your board report, you're gonna see some classroom SMART goals. And then right past that, I wanna just show you and talk a little bit about our beginning of the year iReady. Now with iReady versus evaluate your testing every month, with evaluate no longer being one of the approved vendors and iReady coming in, it's 3 times a year. So we take it beginning, middle, and end. So I have included the beginning of the year scores. We'll take our middle of the year right before we leave for Christmas break. We'll start with reading and do that the first week of December, and the second week of December we will have our math. Kind of some things we do there is students only test 20 minutes a day, so we do reading 1 week and math 1 week so that they're not fatigued by the time they get to the end of the test. So like I said, you'll see our beginning of the year scores there. The thing I really notice is I'm hoping to see a huge jump in math as we're working through the Eureka Math Squared curriculum this year, but you will see again our math, as we kind of expected, was a little bit lower than the reading because we've had such a focus on reading the last couple of years. So I will report back on my next report the growth that we made at that middle of the year data. We did have some students through progress monitoring do the DIBELS test, which is another assessment that our title teachers give a little bit early as progress monitoring. Not everybody has done that yet, but the ones that we did see a lot of growth in some of those students as we progress monitored them this month. So that was exciting to see as well. Are there any questions I can answer for anybody?
For the iReading, do they generally do that in December for the middle of the year? Like, just curious, because kids are
Yes.
normally like
So
wearing out, ready for break.
yes, so last year, so we could do it in December or we could do it in January. Last year, our teachers kind of said they would like to see what our kids had learned a little bit earlier. So last year we did do it in January, but unfortunately with the way the windows fall, that's like right when we come back from Christmas break. So they wanted to give it a try this year and see before we go to break if what we see there. And then we'll make a decision like next year moving forward, which worked best. Cause I could definitely see it that way too, but also once they come back from Christmas break, they've been out 2 weeks, and then to ask them to sit down and do a test right off the bat, you know, sometimes it's hard for them as well. So it'll be interesting to see kind of what we notice and doing that data a little bit earlier. You do have to have 16 weeks in between your data, so to be able to do it in December, we did test them a little bit earlier this year at the beginning of the year, cause again, they like really 14 to 16 weeks in between each test. A good question. We'll see kind of how that falls this year. Any other questions?
All right,
Okay, thank you.
Athletics.
All right, good evening. So as I go through theirs, I'm not gonna read everything to you before, so if there's any questions
There's a
or
lot
things
there.
that you want, yeah, there's a lot. So if there's anything you want me to hit on, just let me know, and we go a little bit more into it. But jumping off, in the football, it didn't end where we wanted to. We ended 1-9. The kids did a great job there towards the end and put a lot of effort into it. We're working now, I'm kind of looking at towards next year and things we can put in place to kind of keep growing that program going. So a couple highlights we have on there, we did have 4 kids that got first team all conference and 3 that got second team honors. We can't put that out yet, as once Tipton is out of the game and everybody in our conference is out, they'll release kind of the all conference, all district and all state. So that's why you haven't seen any of that coming out as of yet. Jumping into volleyball, volleyball had a great year. They ended 21-8-3. They had 21 girls out for the season. They had a heartbreak district championship. They got second. They were really close. They ended up losing to Herman, which ended up being second state. I mean, pros are there. They were really close. They fought really hard. They're very young. They have no seniors right now, so they've only got 5 juniors, 3 sophomore, and a freshman. They've got a very good JV group that's coming up as well. So I mean, the future is very bright for them. Couple of key accomplishments they did is, this first year is they beat Owensville for the first time, they're actually doing twice this year. As well as we had Cap City that, they dominated Cap City very well, on that as well. One thing I did actually just found out today is that Coach Russell did get Coach of the Year again this year. They released that. I seen that coming through, that should be coming through social media pretty soon. That I just actually seen the blip come through the conference, put it out. I was like, oh wait, that's the first time I heard that. So congratulations to her as well. We had several awards that went on with them first. We had 4 girls that were all conference first team, 3 that were second team, as well as they've led out. We have 2 first team all district and 2 second team all district. State, I think, just came out, which you can't get any state girls on there unless you competed in the finals. So we don't have anybody, fortunately, that made that. Jumping into softball. Softball had a great year. They ended 25-6. They had a break loss in district championship. It was tough to see. The girls fought hard. It was a very, we would have liked to see them go on a lot farther, but it happens, and I think they'll learn from that. A couple of their big highlights they had is they did win the Ballpark Nationals against a lot of very competitive, high-level teams where they got first in conference again, as well as they got first in our Lynn tournament. We had several girls who got at honors from Pitcher of the Year, first team pitchers, first team infield, first team catcher, first team outfield. We have several second team, as well as district honors, first team, second team, and some all-state. Some big career things that happened too. We had 4 girls get 100 hits in their career, as well as we had 1 that get 400 strikeouts as a pitcher as well. Jumping into cross country had 17 kids that came out together. They had a phenomenal year. As you see, we were able to host districts, I think the first time in several years, with class 2 and 3. We had like 52 schools over here and right around 500 runners that came through. I can't give kudos to the maintenance administrators there and everybody who came out there. We had, Bobby, he ran the van back and forth and shuttle driving, and we had nothing but positive comments from all of our staff, bus drivers, administration. I heard it through the conference as well, as there were a lot of people are excited what was going on, how we ran it. I can't give enough kudos to not just cross country coaches, but well as the runners, as they did a great job to set up, and all the volunteers was great. The girls did end up getting second in conference this year as well, so that's a highlight for them as well. Jumping into finishing up middle school volleyball. They had a great year. They learned a lot. We had great numbers. Had 21 kids out. Again, I think we have a great program with the 7th, 8th graders. They're going to feed into the high school, so you're going to see those numbers in volleyball keep stepping up. A big highlight is band. I know our numbers have been low in band. They did a great job this year. They stepped up and did all of our national anthems at the football games. They performed at all the halftime games. Those numbers are on the rise. They were able to get second place in Sullivan band. Unfortunately, some bad weather and things come in. They canceled Mizzou Band Day as well as Southern Boone Festivals. They weren't able to make up. One key thing that some people were participating in, the alum game was huge. That was a great turnout. I heard a lot of people talking about that. A lot of people showed up. I know that's a plan to do it again next year. Moving to this winter with them, they plan on being about 4 or 5 of the boys, girls varsity games. The band performing there. Be looking for an invite, as they're going to try to do a alum band as well for basketball season. So that's exciting. Probably one of the biggest highlights is we have around 10 kids in 8th grade right now. So we're looking to almost double our numbers next year in band. From around that 15, we're looking around 24 or 25 kids. So that's very exciting as well. All right, finishing up with winter. Middle school, they looked at numbers wise, we've got 8 6th graders out. We've got 5 7th graders, and we've got 8 8th graders out for middle school basketball. They're going through some learning curves, but they're trying hard. They're learning each day. Kind of their big goals is to take after one game, learn, go from it, and get better each time. Our middle school boys basketball, they've got 2 6th graders, 4 7th graders, and 7 8th graders. They have a lot of new first-year kids that are out for basketball, which is great. So a lot of their big growth they're trying to embrace is just skills and then playing tough and physical as to getting into high school next year. We've got 11 girls out there for winter cheer. They're planning on trying to attend as many of the home basketball games we can right now. Is what their goal is, and we'll kind of see how that turns out with a lot of nights of them being out. Jumping into the last 2 here, boys basketball. They've got high expectations though. A lot of the boys have been coming in early and shooting early in the morning, going, so the expectations are really high from Coach B. They're really embracing the tempo that they're looking to play. You're going to see a lot of them really playing a fast tempo, hardworking, and kind of get up and going and really push the envelope. And the boys are very embracing that kind of atmosphere right now. Girls basketball, we've got a total of 9 girls out for basketball. They're young, with having only 1 senior, 7 juniors. They said they got a lot of returning from last year. So I know Coach Thomas is very excited for that and what's coming this year. They're looking at as having a couple of youth camps that are gonna be coming up. They're gonna do a Christmas break. They're gonna try to get some kids in from youth camps coming up there. And they're looking to come back and compete for conference championship, and make a deep run into the playoffs.
Any questions? No, we had a great fall sport, no
Yes,
doubt about it.
It was a good year.
Yeah.
Can I make it an addition, just congratulate Sophia, she's one of the all-state softball players, she's the only one that got all-state in our region, so congratulations, Sophia.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I put it in the paper, that's not enough, I gotta.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Student representatives.
Good evening. Thank you all for allowing us to include information in your packets about what students are doing at Lynn High School. We are Sophie Voss and Reed Baker, and we are happy to answer any and all questions the best we can about activities that have happened at school in the first semester. It's been a busy semester, and we're gearing up for Thanksgiving break and then some more busy weeks before finals and Christmas. Some highlights so far include our Wildcat games, which we help organize once a month. We went old school with the Foursquare tournament, and then the teachers got out some aggression when they played students in a dodgeball competition. Homecoming this year was amazing with the addition of the bonfire and downtown parade. The seniors won the float competition, and we are sorting the books collected to give to area daycares and preschools. Another big congrats to Anna Plume for receiving all-state choir honors.
Our clubs have also been very busy with FFA held Food for America for the Elementary Grandparents Day. Started off slow because it was very rainy, but the second group of grandparents that came in, they had a lot of fun. And then this past week, FFA held FFA week, and that finished up with barn warming. And then Unified Partners have been busy too. They went to South Callaway for the Special Olympics track event that lots of athletes competed in. And then just this past week, they went to the Special Olympics Training Center in Jeff and had a fun day there. NHS also has hosted the Veterans Day Assembly, and the student council provided donuts and coffee for all the guests that came. It was great. It was a great day, and it was really good. Thank you again for having us. If you guys have any questions.
Any questions? Remind me, what was the senior float for homecoming?
It was Winnie the Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh.
It was all the homecomings the floats were based off of children's
books?
Yeah, children's books.
All
We had
right.
like a honey pot and the tree that Pooh was in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that's
fun.
definitely a big step up from last year.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Well, shopping carts and
Yeah.
floats. They look really good.
Any comments, questions? All right, great report. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
I feel like we're missing Mark, with Mark's always his positive contribution for questions. So
Wait.
We need to
you
step
guys-
it up.
You guys aren't leaving, are you?
Homework to do.
Thank you.
See you
Thank
later.
you.
Have a good night.
Maintenance.
Good evening. Not too much to report. Staffing wise, we do need a event custodian. That's all. That's everything else is going good in all other departments. For scheduled maintenance and repairs, I'm just working on routine maintenance and trying to keep everything going and fix it before it breaks. That kind of thing. Unscheduled maintenance, we did have to look into getting another geo unit for the cafeteria. It's gonna have to be a complete replacement in there. It's got a bad evac coil and a compressor shot, so that's gonna have to be a complete replacement. And our outdoor freezer is gonna have to have a frame and door replacement. The door is just falling to pieces, and the frame, the heater inside of it is shorted, so it's just best to replace the whole thing. So,
That doesn't sound cheap. What does that cost?
No.
it's running around $7,000.
$7,000. What's a freezer cost?
Freezer, you're looking probably up in the 15, 20.
like half the cost of a freezer, is the rest of the
That's
freezer
their
good?
your whole box, you.
Yeah. Okay.
It's gonna be about $7 grand.
Wonder how old the freezer is.
Yeah.
It's as
And
old as
that's-
the high school, I
That's
believe.
it's an old freezer, so we had to get like a
25
rebuilt
years.
version, you know.
Oh,
it has to be
so you've
made.
already done it?
I've got a bid on it, so.
Okay, I mean, you might wanna get a bid on the whole damn thing, I mean,
We can do it.
darn thing,
I
sorry.
think you're being conservative, 15 to 20. I think it's gonna be closer to 30 to 35, all said and done, but I'll get a bid for you.
Okay, might, if that old, okay,
Uh,
cause a new one would come with the compressor and everything, would it, or not?
It would,
Yeah.
it would
And is
be.
it all 25 years old or 20 years old?
Yeah, it's all 20. We did do some work on it last year and got it's running really well as far as that goes.
But it's still 20 years old?
Yeah, it's still, yeah, but it's
25.
due. just
25
like
years
the,
old.
Your first
Oh.
year at school year.
I don't know, you might wanna look at it.
Yeah, and that's the thing with all the Geo units too, they're up to 25 years old too, so we can probably expect this to, you know, how that's gonna go.
Yep.
As far as the maintenance shops, everything's working as it should. We did order some composite blades for their snow plows to, kind of help with the surfaces. We got new parking lots and everything, we're gonna get those to shops. Thank you, Andy, for bringing those back over here since they got
Yep.
delivered to you. As far as, projects, I'm just working with Bex and Vernon Jones and, UMS with all the projects that we got going on right now. Kind of keeping us kind of busy with that. Facility and grounds, winterizing our facilities, our outdoor facilities, getting the bathrooms ready and everything ready, so hopefully.
Need that next week, or later
Yeah.
this week. Yep.
Yeah, I think we're in the 20s sometime soon.
Mhm.
So, getting all that done, and, as far as our future projects, just trying to get, through all of our projects now that are continuing with the bond and, softball, baseball.
All right.
Did they get the irrigation blowed out?
What's that?
Did they get the irrigations blowed out?
Yes, they did. They did that, Wednesday.
Yeah, it was earlier this week. I thought it was Tuesday, but it could be.
Did you
I saw him.
did you have that done, or did Joe go over and do that? Yeah, I know he was blowing out the golf
Joe
course
was
last
here,
week.
and I think so was, the guy there.
Okay. All right.
That's all I got.
Do we
Any
still,
questions?
do we still stuff that tunnel full of straw, or have we
No, it's
cut it
not.
off,
It's all
so
in
it's
a-
all good?
It's all in a vault now.
Vault now.
Okay, all right.
So, yeah, it's all secure.
Okay,
And I know that they took the plug out and drained the pump. I think it should be good.
all right, we learned from our mistake.
Anything else for me?
Nope, unless somebody has a question. All right, thank you very much. Superintendent's report.
Headed into holiday season, our students and our staff are ready for Thanksgiving. I think we're a bit antsy. We've been working hard this first few months. We do have Phil Boyd on the PD and the relationship side coming in at the beginning of January. That's always been a really positive. Professional development is pretty lifting heading into the spring. I will say, we'll talk a little bit about our APR and our student achievement results. You know, as we bear down on that, of particular interest will be our culture, really more than anything, our climate going through the spring. Like I've noted before, there's no way to really get better at those things without working longer and harder and more intensely, and that always strains your climate for certain. Gonna reiterate again, we've had about 10 students move into the district that qualified for special education. We'll be looking at another sped teacher for next year. We're gonna post general positions soon. The fight for good quality staff is starting earlier and earlier, and so when I say general positions, math, science, English, social studies, we'll probably put a general elementary posting out there. That is just to catch anybody that might be looking for next year already. On that same side, you know, early indications are that I'm pretty optimistic about being able to make the 41.2 minimum base salary next year. Part of me wants to make that 41.250 just so that we can say we're not shooting for the bottom again. And we're also looking at staff attendance. That's part of what we're trying to correlate with our student achievement data also. And that's a concern moving to the 4-day week. We didn't reduce our leave at all. So you have more leave and fewer days. So that means our absence rate, if you just use your leave, is gonna jump up. Of course, we give it to them, so we want them to use it, but we're also constantly short on subs and covering and combining classes.
So we did analysis of pre-4 day week versus
Yes.
5-day? And
It's
now
actually
the amount
worse
of
now.
Employees take more leave now than they did then?
During our 4 days in session, our staff attendance is lower than when we were in session 5 days. Now, part of that is because you have the same amount of leave days in
Short amount
25 or
of
30
time.
fewer days. But more so, we're still worse even adjusting for the 20 or 30 days less. It doesn't seem to be helping that we have that Monday for appointments and things like that. I think something that I've heard very common is, well, my doctor's not available on Monday, or my dentist isn't available on Monday. And so the net result is that our staff attendance is worse than it was when we were on.
Doctors and dentists took Fridays off, not Mondays off.
I can just tell you when we ask what we get.
Okay.
Professional development, teaching and learning. Honestly, we're gonna be all hands on deck, focusing on our APR data. We have very general information now as we get our student level data and figuring out where our needs are there. Again, we're gonna have to come in. I'm really glad it was timely that we had Phil coming in January to kind of help us get through what is undoubtedly gonna be a difficult time with climate as we bear down on that. Facilities, Cliff talked about that. I don't have an answer for the front entrance concrete yet. They are going to survey that and go through piece by piece with instruments and measure. I think it's gonna be a fight. But the vast majority of it needs to be torn up and redone. And so that we're gonna be moving towards that end. Dr. Cobb did a great job with athletics and fine arts. Budget and finance, we do have a couple budget pressures for next year. We're gonna need an additional SPED teacher, almost undoubtedly. Early childhood special education, that ECSC is how we fund our pre-K. You have to have a certain amount of students qualify for those services, and we have fallen below that for now the second year in a row. There are other grants out there that I'll be applying for to take that funding burden over, which would be about equivalent. It's about $130,000 a year right now that we get for ECSC. That's about what we claim. There is that much money out there, but we would have to be full in order to get that much. So that's gonna be a pressure for us. Continuing to monitor the formula task force to see what comes out of there. Not a lot, it's early, and that's our state funding model. We are on track with our budget. When I say on track, because of our AV bounce and a couple other things, I tend to predict conservatively. I actually think our fund balance is gonna go up several points by the end of this year. We'll end with 35.36, or we did. I think we'll be closer to 40 by the end of the year. Having said that, the state did approve full funding formula, but our November payment was paid at $6,899.41 instead of $7,145. That is fairly typical. They don't pay you full. They hold back some of your funding just in case through the spring. It doesn't mean that we're not gonna get full funding, it's just that they're paying below that right now. Classroom Trust Fund is also those proceeds that are revenues to the state that come to us. They're about 16 million behind for this year. Our music insurance rate has went up 28%, and that's a combination of two things. We're building all this nice new stuff, and that costs more. They had a base increase of 4%, and then between our new facilities and just the increased value here locally, that's resulted in a $28,000 increase. So it's about $35,000, $36,000.
That's 28%. What's our deductible? Do you know?
It's a percentage write-off. I think it's, I don't remember write-off, but I'll get that to you.
Okay, I know that's one thing we did across the street. We raised ours like the max, like 75,000 to try to keep the rates down a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know we could afford to do that, but that's a big increase.
Yeah, we had a $36 million value change, which is a lot.
Is it,
Mr. James?
what's that based on? How much value?
36 million.
Total.
Into 26, yeah.
Okay,
Yes,
how
sir.
big?
With all the ad expenses, et cetera, and what do you hear from the state about continuing the grant for the base salary? You know, because, you know,
Here's what they tell us, it's reevaluated every single year, and it has to be approved through committee, and then it has to be signed off by the governor. So it is of particular interest. I haven't heard that they're gonna discontinue that, but if you ask, what they say is it's year by year, has to make it through appropriations, has to make it through committee, has to make it through the governor and be signed. I do think, I'm a little bit more optimistic. I met with Ben Brown last week. We ended up speaking for a few hours. He is very aware of the fact that we passed legislation mandating a minimum base salary, and we really didn't take into consideration, he didn't say it this way to be fair, the burden that would be placed on small schools. But he did acknowledge that small schools are struggling to make that base salary as a result. Senator Brown is obviously a Republican. I think him understanding that suggests that we're gonna have some support at the very least to continue that base salary grant at the state level. I don't think they're going to want to mandate us and then tell us they're going to take away the program that they've helped mitigate that cost with. The bad news for us is all it does is, number one, it places us in last place as far as salaries, and then it compresses our salary scale. You know, you're here for 6, 7, 8 years, you're making the same thing as a brand new teacher. Now it's paid out a little bit differently because of how we lump base salary, but that's not a message that I want to give to our mid-career teachers, that we're not going to pay you for your experience. So still that 41.2 for next year, and 3% every year after is a focus for us in our budget. I think we're going to make it there, but we're going to make it there narrowly with our operating levy as it is now. I think we'll eat into our operating levy for 1 to 2 years at least with that before we have a hope. And then by that time, we'll be looking at a new state funding formula, so we'll have to completely reevaluate then, and I'll have to get a different crystal ball.
Because it probably will take, I know higher ed's looking at funding formula, and they wouldn't implement it till 2029
Yeah,
fiscal year, so it's gonna be a few years out.
It's gonna be a few years.
they begin pre-filing bills in December, so.
That they do.
I've always known about how, well, not always, I've known about how education funding has worked for probably a decade now, really intimately. But there's a difference between knowing and understanding the bind that it puts districts in to submit a budget before we have an assessed valuation, right after legislation goes through and we don't know what's gonna hit and what's gonna be mandated before a state budget is established. Federal budget, it gets established by calendar year, and you really are guessing step 1, which will tell you how to guess step 2 and step 3, and if you mess up on step 1, it can really put you off course with your budget predictions. So that's part of the reason that I really try and stay pretty conservative. I thought we would end up at about a 31.5% fund balance at the end of this past year. We ended up with 35.36. That's 4%. I'd really like to be within 2%, but if I'm gonna be within 4%, I'd rather it was to the positive. And so got a little bit of extra money that we didn't plan on having, which is part of how I'm gonna make it work, I think, for teachers the next couple.
All right, any questions?
No, but I will say when it comes to attendance, even as a parent of a student trying to get a kid in on a Monday, it's hard sometimes, and you're either looking at a Monday 2 months from now or a Wednesday during the week, or you have hair salons that are closed, and I have certain doctors that are working retirement hours, so I do feel their pain, but I can also see as to how it's not helping us, because I run into it as a parent all the time.
All right, anything else? Action items, approve the candidate filing period.
Each year, we establish a 2-week window for candidate filing. This year, the last day is December 30th. If we back that up, that means we need to start our candidate filing December 9th, and that'll be December 9th through the 19th during normal business hours. And then as a part of the state requirements, we need to be open at least part of that last day The last couple of years, we've had a 2-hour window, typically 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. That's in line with what a lot of districts do. We just need to get this posted in the paper so that any prospective candidates know when to swing by and get their candidate packet. We will have three positions open, Ms. Kluzak, Mrs. Greer, and you, Dr. Strong.
All right. December 9th, I'll be there bright and early. Lori, will you? You decided? Not to put you on the spot.
I'm not sure yet.
Not sure yet. All right. Okay, I need a motion to approve the candidate filing period.
I'll make a motion to approve the candidate filing period.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Further discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Audit.
More good news. Our audit went extremely well. We got a lot of compliments from the accounting firm. Went very smoothly. We ended up with the most important, probably 2 important details there. Our ending fund balance, which ended up being 35.36. Our goal as a board is 30%. State's kind of adequate target is 20%, so we're well above that. We're gonna look to hold on as much of that money as we can in preparation for what I hope is a base salary bump next year. A few good things, also, just because of how smooth this went, we've saved about 35%, 33% of the cost of our budgets, just because we don't really get charged much of anything outside of the base cost. And so we're essentially getting, based on what we paid for before, we're kind of getting this year for free as far as the average, just in terms of the efficiency. And that doesn't even include the increased cost of the audit. Even with that, we're still about 33% better. We didn't have any significant findings. About the only thing is a 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other way that we coded bond revenues and expenditures. And honestly, we just said with our accounting firm, if you would like to see it that way, we'll change the way we code if it makes our audit next year even easier. And so we just adjusted there and coded, not necessarily that we were doing it wrong, we coded it the way they liked it, a little bit better. But it went really, really well. Great job by the office staff. We also got to choose our audit appointment. Typically, if you don't have smooth audits, they don't let you do that. They know you're gonna be an extended problem, so they get to choose, and you have to just kind of let them do that. We actually get to choose because they know they'll be in and out in one day. So I'm pretty proud of that.
All right, so doesn't get much better than a clean audit with no findings, so.
It doesn't.
Congratulations. We need to vote to approve the audit, the findings of the audit. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion, we approve the findings of the audit.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Further discussion, questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same, motion carries. Discussion items, FCCLA.
Good evening. You guys have my report, so I won't read it all. We have about 25 members this year, which is a little down. I really put that on me, just because I've had a crazy past few years, but knock on wood, hopefully, we're on smooth sailing now. So we have a lot more kids right now who are interested in doing more, asking to go do more things. So I'm excited for that. They're starting to get interested again. Last year, we expanded our Osage Carrying Baskets project by a lot. Charlotte was very shocked by how many baskets I had brought in, but this year I'm hoping to do even more. So I sent that out today. Kami and Aaron both sent it out, and I already had 8 people signed up by the end of the day for different baskets, and not everybody had seen it yet. So I'm excited to see how far that goes. I know Mr. Sallin is doing a contest with his classes on which class can bring in the most stuff for their basket. So I'm happy everybody's on board at school. We have some kids interested in going and competing again, which is exciting, because I've had a lot of shy older kids lately, so we're getting some kids who are more interested in being leaders, so that's exciting for our small group. That's about all I've got.
All right, any questions?
Pretty excited about your new space. It is
Yeah.
ginormous.
And I can separate my bunk beds.
Yeah, plenty of room for activities in there.
Yes, I'm very excited for my new room. I keep telling kids, I'm like, next year, so we're excited.
It's about the size of this room. Pretty
Oh,
close.
really?
It's-
Pretty close.
It's nice,
Impressive.
it'll be nice. I'm excited, and the storage looks like it'll be good too, because that was one I was a little concerned about losing all my cabinets, but I think it'll be good.
All right.
You could stack 10 times as many cabinets.
Right, I don't think I'll need to, but I could.
All right, thank you very much. FFA program.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for letting us come. You guys have our report. I'm pretty sure it's about 3 pages, so we will not go over all of that with you. We will let you guys do that on your own time. Right now, we have about 120 members, including our graduate members. So we pride ourselves on having kids who want to stick with it until they're 21. They have that opportunity to fill out American degrees, show at the fair, do other college academically activities as well. So that's pretty cool that 41 of those members are actually graduates. We also have about 38 8th graders that we get to see in rotation through our program, which is awesome, which helps us with our retention rates a lot. And making those connections sooner with those 8th graders is awesome. It's also in smaller classes. We have about classes of 8 to 10. So you get a lot more one-on-one making those connections with kids, which is awesome. Doing what Okay, so we have a lot of accomplishments. We had 8 American degrees, 6 state degrees. This year we only had 1 proficiency area winner. We had some really, really stiff competition across our entire area this year, but we did send in 7 applications that kids worked tirelessly on to complete as well. We had a student go to Missouri Agribusiness Academy and tour in Kansas City this summer and be one of the top 30 sophomores in the state of Missouri in FFA and 4-H. That's pretty cool. We had 2 HIMAC students that was not in your report. I forgot to put that in there. I'm sorry. They were top 100 freshmen out of the FFA as a state. We had state chorus members. We were very well represented at our Osage County Fair. We came away with quite a few reserves and grands and championship stuff as well, which was really cool. We had 10 students compete at Missouri State Fair, and we actually got grand champion pickles in the in the exhibit building. Mr. Shepherd got to taste them on the way home. He asked permission. He said they were really good. Some other great, awesome things that we've done, or our kids have done. We had 2 teams that went to state this year. One team actually competed and got in the top. They were the top 8 teams. And they got to move on to a second round of competition, which was a lot more tedious and more hands-on and worked as a team. And they ended up placing 7th out of 24 teams, and they got a gold ranking. That was my first gold ranking team. It was pretty cool. Those kids worked their little hearts out for sure. Mr. Shepherd had a nursery landscape team that got to go as well and compete, and they got a group 2, which is the silver ranking, which is still really high honors as well for them. Okay.
That's right. Okay. And we also will note Christy Weberg was top 25.
We
at
gotta
the
talk
state.
about Faith Davis.
Okay, well, Faith Davis is the top 10 individual at the food science contest.
Out of 190 kids.
That's a lot of kids.
That's a lot of kids. That was pretty cool.
Some of our other things that we did was we had several community activities. We're doing a canned food drive currently. We're going to participate in the Osage Caring Baskets project, and we also did Food for America or Grandparents Day, so that's always a big deal where we have all the grandparents come in. It works really well because the grandparents love to come in and see all the animals and has something for them to do. Except we did have rain the first group grandparents, so that wasn't the greatest thing. But it worked out. I did want to highlight, we received a vocational enhancement grant this year, which was great, which is a 75-25 grant. The state pays for 75% of the funding, and then the district pays for 25%. And so we got to spend about $47,000. We got a nice plasma table. Hopefully I'm going to get to work on this weekend and get it going. We got a new saw, stock table saw, so I'm actually comfortable letting kids use a table saw now so they don't cut their fingers off. You guys don't know what those are. As soon as the kid's finger touches or any skin touches that blade, it goes down like a millisecond and won't cut their fingers off. So so.
Good
Don't use
news.
green wood.
Glad to hear that.
Well,
Don't use green
yeah,
wood.
I don't do that. I learned, I read on that one too, but,
Mhm.
He'll let me use it though now.
yeah, I just, I would train them on it, but I never want, I just always worried about table saw. So that was awesome. That was about $7,000. We also got 4 new MIG welders. My MIG welders are, most of them are over 10 years old, and they're starting to fall apart. So we got 4 new multi-process machines, so they MIG, arc, and TIG, because some of my arc welders are falling apart, so we can arc weld. And then the TIG weld's been really good, because the kids that wanted to TIG weld just never really had but one. And anyway, we've got those going. The kids are kind of teaching themselves, really. I mean, I've kind of shown them the basics, but they want to TIG weld, so we let them go at it. They're doing real well on that. We also received about $5,000 worth of Milwaukee 18-volt cordless tools. So, and I've been working with Hometown on that. I'm still waiting on some tools. But in saying that, I got John to give it, he got the company, or Milwaukee, to throw in $100,000 worth of free batteries.
Oh,
So, that was pretty awesome.
That's 2
So-
batteries though, right?
No, it's more like 10, I think, maybe. But yeah, they're expensive. Batteries are expensive, but
Yeah,
the
I'd say
kids have
probably
already
5.
started using the tools and they love them. And we needed a lot of those things. Let's see, what else did we get? I got
Plasma CNC
plasma
tape.
plasma table. That was the big item. I've been wanting one of those, and so the high metal costs have really hit kids, especially since COVID. I used to be able to pump a lot of trailers out, but I get bids on things, and it's like, well, that's about $5,000, $6,000. I can't do that. You know, it was about half of that before COVID. But with the new plasma table, I'm hoping we're going to be able to do a lot more things that kids can afford to do, you know, and they learn something, you know, so as well. So, and then Ms. Niederhelm also, we did a 50-50 grant, which is a normal thing, but we kind of did that late in the year, so we haven't spent that yet. We're waiting to see if that's going to be a possibility, but we got approved for, you know, what, refrigerators, microwaves.
It was like $11,000.
Yeah, she got approved for a bunch of stuff to put in the food lab. But again, that grant, if we don't use that money, it's okay. But if it's in the budget, we'd like to use it. But we got to do that by January, so that's something to think about as well. We did our normal fundraising. We had a good free sales. What did we sell total? Like 35 or
37.
37. Okay. So we threw about $37,000 worth of fruit and nuts and cookie dough, and that comes in a couple weeks. I'm excited about that one. It's gonna be great, getting all that unloaded. And then one thing I always like to point out, again, this is going on probably 13 years. Classic Buildings over here, I'm partnering with them again. And we get to, in my structures class, we get to build sheds. We're building 6 of them, 8x12s. We pay for no materials. When we're done with them, Classic takes them back and they sell them, whatever. And a lot of them donate, but they have started letting us keep 1 a year. So I sold 1 this year, and I kept 2 to put storage back there. So again, I would say it's well over $100,000 more. We can't afford to buy those things and then have to sell those sheds and deliver them. So it's a really, really awesome thing. And I love going to Classic. I go there about every morning to get materials. Because I don't want to get too much lumber because it warps up fast. But as soon as I walk in the door, all those guys that work there knew who I am. And they're like, hey, what are your kids doing today? They're excited. The company's excited about it. So anyway, it's a pretty cool feeling. So, and then also Ms. Niederhelm is going to be taking kids to Washington Leadership Conference this summer in Washington, D.C. Doing in June or July?
Second week of June.
Second week, oh, it says it right there, second week of June. And so that's at least $3,000 or $4,000 head trip. They're working on raising money. She's going to take some of our top kids. And it's an awesome experience. They get to go to see the Capitol, talk to their congressman, all that kind of thing, and learn leadership skills in the process. So, any questions?
Any questions? No? Great comprehensive
job.
report, very good.
Okay.
Very
Thank
active,
you.
good job. Gifted program.
Hello. You have the report, so I'll just go through some of the main points. Currently we have 50 students in the program, and I put the breakdown here of the numbers. Elementary, grades 3 through 5 has 23 students. Middle school, grades 6 through 8 has 9, and high school, grades 9 to 12 has 18 students. The state still requires a minimum of 150 minutes per week of instructional time with the students, and our district has that divided into 2 different times. There's the grade level group times that are 90 minutes each, and then the all group, which is all the kids in the program, at 60 minutes. And then the current schedule is listed here. It's the same as has been last year and maybe the year before too, but at least the same as last year. There's also been no change to the fact that they come from their regular classrooms to meet with me in the elementary art room. And during the regular, well, their grade level times, we still use that time for more in-depth topic-based projects. The all group time is used more for SEL curriculum, problem-solving practice, and extended thinking strategies, STEM challenges, that sort of thing. The screening process is still the same. With universal screening, we still consider all students and go through the steps of making sure all students are considered, and then we pull students for further evaluation. They still must meet requirements in 3 or 4 areas that include general mental ability, academic ability, creativity and reasoning and problem solving, and then other. So those are all the same with the screening process. And then I've also been working to complete the gifted education self-assessment tool that comes from the state. Go through that each year, and then reviewing the district's quality assurance plan, and still developing that into a district program document for our district. I've also been continuing to develop the curriculum for the program. Some of the new topics that we've been doing this year are caves and speleology, online games and simulation design, sustainable city design, and automatons. Students also regularly complete activities that relate to the engineering design process, and then others that I mentioned earlier also during the all group time. I also took over the summer a 10-week course. It's called an Edge Game Design course. It was grant funded through EMINT's Professional Learning Center and the University of Missouri. And it provided training in agent cubes, which is also called agent sheets, online game and simulation design. With that, they can do pretty any type of games, but also like simulations that you can relate to the science field or math field or other subjects. So that's been pretty interesting for the students. The middle school and high school students are currently learning how to develop the Frogger and Pac-Man classic games, and as well as a simulation. And once we get through that pretty quick, or pretty soon from now, they'll design their own game or simulation and create that. We also have the new 3D printer set up and running. We've been using quite a bit this year already. That I got that through a grant last year, that one of the Coca-Cola grants. I've also been planning a field trip for the upcoming spring. That'll go along with one of our units that we'll be doing on caves and speleology, so hopefully we'll end up being able to go to a state park and get the transportation paid for that through the state park program that they do for providing transportation to their parks for student field trips. And then also been still just helping teachers, supporting gifted students when they're in their regular classroom, and trying to still make connections with other gifted teachers in the region and keeping up with that. So, are there any questions?
Any questions? I think I kept up on everything, except what is an automaton?
Automaton is based on simple machines like gears and gadgets. So it would be like they would, I don't know if you think of like the old time like music box, you turn it and something will pop up, but with the automaton, when you're turning the gear, then whatever you had made, whatever object or whatever you made will move.
Would animate, so to speak.
Okay.
A gear-driven animation.
Yeah.
All right, I'm with you. I can see it in my head. All right. Any other questions? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
District APR rating.
Normally, this is one of my favorite topics, which is teaching and learning and student achievement. I cannot say that I'm super excited for this to be the topic this evening. Compared to last year, we were at 88.5, and we fell backwards for the first time in our tenure here. We'd made some incremental gains through the last few years up to that 88.5, and then we lost 10 points. Of that 10 points, 2 of them were continuous improvement. We're not the only ones. For whatever reason, Infinite Campus wasn't pulling in its report the ICAP data for core data, and so we lost 2 points for that. It's 4 points of your APR, but it equates to 2 percentage points. So just to clarify that. But we lost 8 points in student achievement. Some of that we knew we were struggling with. For instance, in year 2, Mrs. Otto came and said, hey, I know we have curriculum gaps in elementary math, and I know the depth of knowledge, our standards alignment, we're really struggling, and so that's why we pursued Eureka Math. We got that in the spring, we did some pilots, and we're running with it this year. But the hit that we thought we were gonna take, we took. Last year, we had not this last tested year, the year before that, we went up 20 points in Algebra 1. We actually thought that that was awesome. We lost every bit of those 20 points in Algebra 1 this year. So we actually went backwards where we had previously had a leap forward. We just took 2 hard hits there, mostly in the math area. I would love to tell you that this is statewide and everybody hit a challenge, but honestly, there's mixed results. There's a lot of good districts around us that made progress this past year and their APR went up. Point to Chamois, Owensville went up. Bell had a pretty good run. I think they got 7 or 8 points, which means it's possible for us. We knew a couple things were coming our way. We missed. We're already meeting about the kind of the 30,000 foot level data, which is our general student achievement data, but we'll be taking a look at the student and teacher breakdown when they come in, trying to figure out where our curriculum gaps were and where we're missing. And it will be the priority focus of us. It's our, I mean, bottom line, it's our teaching and learning is our core business, and that's the only place that we didn't win big this year, and we've got to rectify that. Our student data will tell us the most there.
Were scores similar? If we go over time, have we been this low before? Have we been in a similar position?
Yeah, 5 or 6 years ago. We're about where we started out 5 years ago. So about 5 years ago, we were around that 80, 79, 80, 80 and a half range. So for instance, I think, without looking at it, I think we were like 80.25. But remember, this is also a different rating system. So MSIP 6, we only have that data for 4 years back piloting. But the equivalent, we kind of hover around that 80. Our goal was to break into the 90s this year. We thought we're 1.5 points off with 88.5. We knew we were going to struggle a little bit, but we thought we still might make that. We've gained, 2 of these points are just literally just administrivia. Missing out that ICAP. Mrs. Wolf did everything right. She put it all in Infinite Campus, but somehow when we pulled that data out and it's sent to the state, it was a 0, meaning no, we don't ICAP our 8th graders, instead of yes, we do. We did 100% of those. She did a great job. I think New Bloomfield and one other district in our conference also uses Infinite Campus. They had the same thing happen to them.
But that's only 2 points.
That's only 2. The other 8, we've went up about 6 or 7 points in the last 3 or 4 years, and now we've went back 8. So I think our net loss was like 1.8 over the last 3 or 4 years. We're inconsistent, where I thought we had some consistency in gaining 2 and 4 points each year. We lost 10 all at once. And so our focus is going to be gaining all 10 back. The 2 is easy. But if we could gain 10, maybe 15 back going next year, that'll be our goal. We've got to work that here. Yeah, we can. And I'll tell you why. If you can lose 10 points, we've said this a lot over our data discussions, and this is a part of our discussions also as an administrative team. When you've got maybe one kid that's 1 or 2%, then getting 10%, that's 5 or 10 kids. let's drill down, let's focus, let's find where those 5 or 10 kids are at, where they're at in their learning, and bridge the gap between what we're delivering instructionally, how they're engaging, and what they're able to achieve afterwards. It is a doable thing. We just missed it. We missed it by, I would say, 5 to 7 kids in each area. But we can get 5 to 7 kids in each area. I'm used to this number at bigger schools being 50 to 100 kids we're targeting to get this kind of movement. We can do 5 to 7 kids. And we, some good things that, I always speak high school level, that's where, we have about 5 teachers that really handle most of our APR rating. Okay, well, let's buckle down with those 5 teachers, really support them better than we ever have before, drill down to aligning written, taught, and tested, making sure instructional delivery is quality, our engagement is high, and what we're giving them is on level. And I think our students will handle their business on the assessment.
Now, I'm curious, philosophically, you get, especially new teachers, that'll try to focus on that bottom third, bottom half, when in reality, if you focus on them, those top kids aren't gonna score any higher than what you've already taught them. Do we as a district, what is our philosophy? Teach to the top kids, or teach to the top kids, but then try to figure out how to help those bottom kids up?
Well, we have to do both. Honestly, we have to do both. We are changing a little bit of our strategy, just thinking about our early conversations. We have typically taught tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3, which is kind of what you're talking about. Like your tier 1 is just your general instruction, how you meet the needs of every day. That is always our focus, but we've also started with a tandem effort on what we call our reds, those that are far behind. We try and get them caught up. That takes the majority of the year, and then we're scrambling to blitz what we call our bubble or our yellow kids. We're gonna do a little bit. We still have to have tier 3 learning. We still have to have tier 1 learning, but we're gonna put the majority of our effort on our bubble kids and really targeting those kids that have the opportunity to make it over into that proficient and advanced range. I think we're better off doing that. If we limit our effort and we focus where we have the greatest potential for gain, I think we'll have some success there. I think this is gonna test our culture, and it's going to weigh on our climate. There is no way doing more better. Blood, sweat, and tears, that's how that happens, and staff is like any other year. It's difficult, and so we're gonna have to catch another year as a staff and make up the difference. Our composite, I spoke with you shortly after I did figure out, my early was that we had slid to 83.5. That's actually our composite rating is 83.5, and that's the average of 25, 24, and 23. That's what I was seeing on the report. There's so many columns that that's where I thought we were at initially, but 78.5.
Compared to other schools in our conference, are we?
Middle.
Middle.
Yeah, but our conference, our Central State 8 has kind of a mixed bag of few people went up, several people went back, a couple people stayed about the same. I checked that out. That's exactly where we're at, is kind of in the middle. And by in the middle, I don't mean our progress. I mean our score, our APR score. When you talk about in terms of losing, I think we lost the second most in our conference. That's not something that I would like to do. When you look at our area schools around us, I think Westphalia stayed about the same. Chamois bumped up. I think they did pretty well. Chamois put on like 5 or 7 points. Owensville put on maybe 3 or 4.
We have 10 kids in class. It's easier to do though.
It is a little bit easier to do, but I don't want to lose them under any circumstance. Bell,
but they did well.
What's that?
But they still did well.
They still did well, and we don't want to take it from them.
Okay, so.
I want it to mean something when we do.
Don't put my comment about only 10 students in the paper, please.
We'll talk money later, Sean.
Here's the way I look at that. In order to honor when we do well, I gotta honor when other people do well too. And right now, they beat us. And I'm not a big fan of that. And I think we have the potential to be on top, and we're not there right now.
Questions? Comments? We have to do better.
I agree.
Okay. All right. Do we have anything else?
close session.
All right, can I get a motion to move to closed session?
I move we adjourn to closed session pursuant to RSMO 610.021, ASD subsections relative to personal identified employment information, personal action, legal action involving public body and or privileged communications among the body and its representatives and attorneys.
I have a motion. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call vote. Brad?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
Andy?